Hey guys, welcome back. This is Donna Sharp with Holistic Wellbeing. Thank you so much for joining me once again here on day 508 of doing these lives. I do trust that you had a fantastic, I'm losing track of the days. What is today? Monday or Tuesday? Today's Tuesday. Sometimes it takes me a second. You see what happens when they put you in prison? You sometimes forget what's happening, right? In any event, the past 2 days I spoke to you in regards to a topic, indecisiveness. I spoke overall on it the first day, and the second day I mentioned, which was yesterday, I mentioned 3 tidbits to kick the habit and rid yourself of keeping yourself in bondage. All right. So today I'm going to speak on 3 additional tips on how to curtail your indecisiveness and see whether or not this is something that can assist you moving forward so you don't feel bogged down as to how do I make the right decisions and make sure that it's something that's fitting to you, right? So I'm going to cover this because the example I keep falling back on is, hi Wanda, how are you? Hi Debbie, I think I saw you pop up there. Welcome, thank you for joining. The example I used was, when you're going to a store and or restaurant, and you're trying to decide on what to eat, and everyone in the car is pointing, okay, we're going to do this, how about this, what do you want, and it keeps going back to what do you want for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, right? So nobody can make a decision because people are fearful that if they make a decision, they're going to be held accountable for whatever actions they have to follow through on afterwards. So they don't want to make the decision, because if someone goes to that restaurant, they don't like what the meal was that they're getting, right? Chances are someone's going to turn to you and say, listen, I don't care for this much. I don't know why you suggested that. And then the other person is now feeling guilty, so to speak, that they made a suggestion, which is not a bad thing. So it's okay to express yourself and speak about what's on your mind and just getting it out in the open, because a decision is a decision. People can say yay or nay, or they may say yay or nay because maybe they're strong in that particular location. If you are someone, for example, that's a vegan and they want to stop for hamburgers, that may not work very well. So I'm sure at that point, someone is going to be very adamant in making a decision, correct? So I often use that because that's always that road trip question. What do you want to eat? Where do you guys want to stop? And everybody's driving and they miss all the exits. So indecisiveness, we're going to speak on 3 additional areas of that tonight, very briefly. And then you can just see how well that ties in with you and how well it applies to your everyday life and how well you make decisions on certain things. So find the decision-making strategy that works best for you. How do you feel after making the decision? A couple of things that came to mind was, do you feel centered? Are you feeling very confident? Are you feeling light and just relieved? Are you feeling confused? There's so many emotions that people can go through as a result of just making one simple decision, right? It could affect anything in your life on a personal level, on a business level. And a lot of times, as I mentioned yesterday, is one of the greatest things to do is you lay out all the pros, you lay out all the cons, and then that's going to help you to lean in the direction that you should be in regards to making a better decision, right? Now, I also mentioned that some people make decisions sporadically. They sometimes just make a decision right on point and they realize later on that wasn't a good choice, right? So if you're someone that does that, you want to make sure that you're really taking your time and going back and just analyzing your decision-making process so that when you make the final choice, it's something that you're satisfied with and you feel comfortable with, all right? So also review to see how you drew your conclusions. What things did you take into consideration in order to make your final decision, right? I'm sure in this day and age, I have to call it, because every time I go outside on the street and I see everyone, I feel like I'm walking in a twilight zone. I can't even believe we have arrived at this particular moment with where the whole country is, where we are as a population, the things we're expected to do, and some of the restriction that it places on us. I'm segueing for a second, but I laugh because, as a massage therapist, if I work on someone, I have to wear a mask and it's stifling, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how did we even get here? Right? So I say all of that. I segue for that there for a particular reason, but review and see how you drew your conclusion when it came to making the right choice and the steps to moving ahead with something else in your life. I know if nothing else right now, during the time that you actually got off for COVID, you want to make sure that you are really mapping out your life and getting things in order. There's probably a lot of projects you wanted to do and things you wanted to accomplish that you weren't able to accomplish because you are always on the grind with being on at work and getting things done that way. So you limit the time that it takes for you to develop your own personal creativity, your own personal skills, and taking those to apply to your everyday life. So when I hear people tell me or message me and say, I'm bored, man, I can't wait to go back to work, I'm this, I'm thinking to myself, you have to really pay attention to how you're applying yourself, because there is way too many things to be done as it relates to your family, your career, your life, your financial situation, all of those things, that when you look at everything, if someone tells me they're bored, I'm probably going to ask them, how does all of these different areas of your life, how does it look? It sounds like it's 120%. Yes? And they'll probably look at me and say, what do you mean? And I'll say, well, you've always wanted to lose 20 pounds and you are right now at 25 pounds lost for the 2 months that you've been at home, correct? And they'll look at me and say, well, not quite. So then in reference to what I just mentioned, so then my point is you are not there. You haven't arrived. So you utilize the time well, especially when it comes to something like this, in creating a plan of action, creating a map, so to speak, so that now when you go to make decisions on all these aspects of your life, you're utilizing the extra time that you have to figure these things out, right? So also, as I mentioned, just review everything, take into consideration all the different aspects of whatever that topic is, and just try to see how you made that decision the last time. If it's the same situation, chances are it may be something different, and bring it over to this time, and then see what you need to add or take away that's going to assist you in making better decisions in the future, right? So ready for certain decisions, but sometimes you may not be ready for certain decision, but it's a necessity. Sometimes your feet is to the grind and you're like, I don't want to decide on that right now. Well, remember one thing, not deciding is also deciding. And sometimes there's no time like the present. You just have to step in, do it, and then just see what happens. So many times I see individuals that are so fearful of doing things in their life. I've heard people come to me several times and say, you know what? I have a love for this. And then I start to question them and I said, it sounds to me like this is a gift that you have. Why is it that you have not taken this gift and moved forward with it to help somebody else that might be in need? God always said when you sit on your gift, you're stifling someone else from what you have to offer, because he gave you that gift for a particular reason. So shame on us for not utilizing those gifts. But the underlying point generally is someone not utilizing their decision-making skills, right, to determine how do I get from point A to point B, eliminate the fears that are in the middle, which you don't have to get rid of them, because remember what I said yesterday, when you're fearful and you're frightened to pieces and you're saying, oh my gosh, this is a big project, I can't take on this, it's just way too much, then that means it's probably the right decision for you, because when life does not pose any kind of stress, any kind of conflict, any kind of pressure, then it's not challenging you to grow to the next level. So you want to make sure you grow through it and don't be afraid of it, right? So decisions can sometimes limit our flexibility. It also may cause ease. Like I said, it may cause stress. It may completely change your life in a very positive way for the long-term benefits. So all of those things, you want to make sure that you take them into perspective and just group them all together and look at the full picture. Try not to just look at it in parts. Remember, the name of my business is Holistic Well-Being. It's the whole person that I deal with. It's not just part, because sometimes people may come to me and say, how do I lose 5 pounds? And that's not a short answer for me, because I know the habits that I've had for the past 40 years. So for me to give a quick answer, how do you lose 5 points? It's more involved for me because, see, I look for people as a holistic and wellness coach. I look for people to make a long-term lifestyle change. So the quick answer is something that just wouldn't fall very quickly with me unless you want to go to a gym and ask them that question. I'm sure they're going to give you something right away, right? So if you're looking and you're serious about, really honing in on your health overall, not just the numbers piece of it, that 5 points piece of it, then you are more than likely to make a decision that's going to impact you as a lifestyle change instead of just a quick change, right? So how will your life be impacted is how well you make that decision, and it's going to determine what your life is going to look like moving forward on that particular area. It's okay if you feel like you did not make the right decision. It's all right. It's all good, right? This is how we grow. This is how we understand ourselves better. Sometimes we may not directly see what's best for us, but like I said, God always has another plan. We always sometimes try to do our own thing, and the Lord's just up there laughing at us. And He said, look at that little girl. Look there. You see, I tell her don't do that, and she could do it again. Look there, right? And He already knows the outcome. So He sees where you need to be. And, like a friend of mine was talking, she's actually on right now, Miss Deb. We were saying that a lot of time God, you ever see those cowboy that lasso the cows and drag them to the ground? Sometimes the Lord throws us that rope 5, 6, 7, 10 times, and we just ignore it and we say, maybe next time. I'll get it next time. We don't see that that's probably our way out, our way to the next level in life, right? Because we're ignoring that because we want what we want. And we don't necessarily see how that's going to fit and impact into our life for the future and also the current time, right? So waiting for the right time, the right people, the right circumstances, that may never arrive. There's no time like the present many times, because sometimes you'll hear people say, you know what, especially with the weight loss, that's a great example to use. They may say, listen, a holiday is coming up. I'm just going to wait till after the holiday I start my diet. Okay, and then they put it off for the next holiday and then the next holiday. So there's always that excuse of something in there that they're going to make up that's going to cause interference with where they need to go at that given time, right? So it's never the right time. And remember, not making the decisions, making a decision. Also, be very keen to your intuition. I mentioned to you that we have a second brain. It's just not up here. Second brain is right down between it's your xiphoid process, which is right above your rib cage. And that's our second gut. That's that little intuition that gives us the nudge a lot of times when it says, go do that. Turn left. You're driving down the road. All of a sudden you feel this nudge and it says, go straight. Or it may say, turn around. Don't go there now. Stop. If you don't listen to that sweet, quiet, soft spirit, that's the spirit of the Lord. A lot of times we will move where we're not supposed to move, or we'll not move when we're supposed to move, right? Or vice versa. So just really, really be keen to that sweet, quiet spirit that you have there. And be bold in your decision-making process. Step out and step into it. And just give it your all and then see what happens. Each day that passes is time that sets us back. So every time you prolong yourself and say, listen, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to start tomorrow. My mommy always says, nothing is promised but a good salvation. Tomorrow may never come. So how are you going to continue putting off tomorrow? And you have other activities that need to be done today and tomorrow. So you have to put it all in perspective, prioritize it, find out what's the action for you to take. You don't want to do the most important thing last in your life. Always prioritize your list. Do the most important things first and get them done. And then you can slowly work your way down your list. If you're making a list, right? That was a whole nother live I spoke on. How to set smart goals. So, and then the last thing is rely on yourself, not the opinion of others. You want to make sure that you're making a decision. You're feeling comfortable in your heart of hearts that this is what you want to do. And a lot of times you'll feel strong enough where you know that you need to make a decision. But again, I mentioned 2 days ago that a lot of times you allow other people around you to impact you. People have their opinion and they may say, I think you should do this. I think you should do this. And the thing is, they're not walking in your shoe. There's that quote or saying, I don't know exactly how it goes, but it says no man really walks a day in someone else's shoes. So they can never determine what their pressure is, what their scope of life is, where they're going next, where they need to be. So it's often hard for you to sometimes accept what someone else is telling you because they don't know your journey. They don't know the things that you necessarily may have on your plate that you're trying to clear first before you actually make that decision. So there's a lot of different parameters that ties up to in decision making as a whole, right? But again, it's okay if you don't make the right choices, but you got to make a decision on something and learn that everything that we do in life is all for a reason. And God will never send us certain things into our life if he doesn't feel it's at the opportune time for us to move ahead on something in our journey that we've been trying to do. All right. So I wanted to speak with you tonight again. This is the third night I spoke on this. And so this may be the last night. We'll see. And but I'll be back again here tomorrow to speak with you on another fantastic subject. And as always, I'm encouraging you to take note. If you find someone in your circle could have heard these words and you want to share the live with them, don't try to explain it to them because it's like that little game where the kids play and they have the telephone, the two cans with the string in between, and you try to give that phone message, but someone else gets in the middle and try to deliver the message that came from the beginning, and it gets all stirred up. So share the live with them so they can hear it for themselves. If you love what you heard, please select the love button. Also message, type your comments on there. Let me know how it's helped you because we don't have that interaction where you're directly speaking with me. So when you type your comments, that's when I'm able to see if this actually impacted you in a great way. Outside of that, if you'd like to learn more about me, please log on to holisticwellbeing.com, and there you can find out why I am so passionate about what I do. And remember, it's not spelled with an H, spelled with a W. All right. So thank you all for joining me. I'll see you guys back here again tomorrow. Until then, have a terrific Tuesday and a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Take care. Ciao.